Okay, this is the trade from today. Um, Definitely a pretty good trade. Followed my rules for the most part. I could have targeted more take profit, which is a little upsetting, but that's okay. I did take a demo trade off of this, and I wrote it to Asian low. And then right after that, I ended up taking another demo trade and hit this low as well. So I actually made quite a bit more on demo than I made on my actual funded account today, which is upsetting, but this is still a good trade, so I'm not going to be too picky about it. But anyways, pre-market we swept London high, and that only seemed to push us down to London low, which we then started reversing out of. And this actually would have been a pretty good trade, but it was before like 6:30 when not pre-market but like regular market opens, and so I did want to go long here because we broke the 79% fib from this high to this low with this candle, and then this 5-minute down candle was a test into equilibrium, as well as this order block or this fair value gap on the 1 minute, which we closed bullish out of. And I was tempted to go long here, but I don't know. That was another demo trade I took. But anyways, I was tempted to go long here. Um, but I didn't really have any take profits because we're at all-time highs, and market hadn't even opened yet. So I was a little worried when market opened and we pushed up so high. I was thinking that it might just rip and that I wouldn't get an entry, but um, not too long after, we inversed this gap on the 5-minute and we hit the 79% from this low to this high. So we were in a downtrend. Then the macro opened. We pushed even lower, but we didn't take out my first take profit yet, so I was still tempted to get into the trade. And then halfway through the macro on the 5-minute, pushed into this fair value gap, and that was at 655. Yeah, so we pushed into it and then had a bearish closure out of it, and so like I could have even gone short off of that, but there was news at 7 and I didn't have a 1-minute confluence, so I was just waiting a little bit longer, and we pushed into this 1-minute fair value gap and saw this bearish closure out of it, and then news was the next candle, and so I just waited for that to happen, and it jumped around a bit but didn't actually move too much. And so once news was pretty much over, I went short with my stops at this 1-minute high here. It wasn't like I didn't want to place my stop all the way up here. It would have been a not great risk to reward. So placed them at that 1-minute high, and that was I was fine with that. And we came down, and I hit my first take profit pretty quickly. And I moved my stop to break even after hitting my first take profit, which was spooky because it was very close to hitting. Like you can see there, it's pretty small gap, but yeah, and then it reversed back down, and I ended up hitting my second and then third take profit. I just closed the position at that point because I don't know, it was a pretty good trade. Um, One thing that I'm struggling with though is I took my take like my all my take profits were set pretty close together, so I didn't actually end up earning much more than a 1-to-1, which is a little upsetting because I could have just closed most of the trade like even at this low, but and it ended up going lower. So by my second take profit, I already closed most of my position. I had like 2 contracts left on the micro Nasdaq, and so like I I could have just left it to Asian low, and sure enough, it hit that. As well as with this, I was tempted to get in for a second trade because we made this high and then this low. We come up, we test equilibrium, and then 5-minute closure out of that, and then we closed, 5-minute closure was here, and then we have a 1-minute confluence, and I went short here and on demo, and ended up hitting that pretty quickly without any up candles, which was nice. But if only I made it on my funded account. But it's not the end of the world. It's still a pretty good trade. I don't know if I mentioned, but we made an SMT off of this high as well, which is a pretty good confluence to go lower. ES did not sweep there, as well as it broke structure when we broke structure on NASDAQ, so I was pretty open for shorts. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much more to the trade. It was pretty good, I think. Just like with my last take profit, probably set that a bit lower. Because these were like right next to each other. I could have just had that as one take profit. So, I don't know. Still a pretty good trade though. We'll see what happens tomorrow. There's some news, so I'll be skeptical to trade. But, oh yeah, I think this was my second entry. I came up into this 5-minute fair value gap, and then what happened? I don't even know where I got in. I think we came up, tested this equilibrium. I think I got in here, and then took that to this hourly low. So I read the market pretty well today. Although sometimes when I see another setup, I should think about taking it. Like this was a pretty good setup and it worked out well. Same with the second one, was a pretty good setup. So anyways, we'll see what happens tomorrow.